Welcome to the Cryptic Files, a compilation of 10 scary videos from the Cryptic Files, Vol.2. 10. The following mysterious footage was recorded by Alex Paranormal while investigating in Highgate Cemetery in London in the UK. Already a famous London landmark, Highgate Cemetery hit the international headlines with their amazing claim that the graves are now the home of a vampire. The story really begins in late 1969 when a local resident said he spotted a tall, dark, rather mysterious figure lurking in the edge of the graveyards just inside the gates. However, this story began to change and became instead the story of a vampire, which has been documented on numerous occasions in various books and TV shows and movies, so I won't go into the full details here, but it's worth looking into. But as a result of this notoriety, the cemetery has become a bit of a target for paranormal investigators. However, it should be noted that the trustees of Highgate Cemetery have an absolute blanket ban on all so-called paranormal investigations taking place in the cemetery. So the fact that the group were actually in there carrying an investigation is taking a hell of a risk, to be sure, but that's up to them. However, what they appear to capture on camera is pretty bizarre. This is their footage.
Right, I'm back again. Can you rattle one of the cage? Do you want to say gate?
Gate. Did you hear us? Yeah.
Nah, what? Good, touch the gate behind me.
Hello, David.
Good, touch the gate behind me.
Exactly a minute.
Let's see if he does it. Touch the gate. Show yourself behind me.
Did you see it? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't because it was moving incredibly quickly. But here, have another look at the footage slowed down and see if you can see what's happening. Still missed it? Well, it is very brief, so let's have another look. Something very briefly appears in frame to the left of the screen. But what is it? Whatever it is moving so fast that it only appears in 6 frames of the video footage. Here are the individual frames. However, this is the most interesting frame, as whatever it is appears to pause just for a moment and we get some idea of what it is we're looking at. Looking closely, it appears that whatever this is, it's small and in front of the bars rather than large and actually in the mausoleum. So it's definitely not human sized, but whatever it is certainly very strange. So what have Alex Paranormal captured on camera? Is it actually a ghost? Or is it something else? Perhaps a fast-moving insect? Well, it would have to be a warp speed insect to have moved so quickly, but who knows? But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. You can find Alex Paranormal's full investigation, which is listed in the description below. 9. TikTok regular Mary Liz 9 uploaded a video of herself dancing in a car park. At first all seems normal, but then something rather strange happens. Just watch. Where did he come from? The figure falls into frame, quite literally. If you look closely, you can see him very briefly appear to drop down behind Mary. And as Mary continues to dance, you can clearly see him now behind her. And if you look very closely, he appears to walk backwards towards Mary. And then he's gone. Here's a closer look at the strange figure. So what did Mary capture? What is going on behind her? Where did he come from? Where did he go? Not surprisingly, Mary's video gained a lot of attention. And in response to that attention, including people claiming it was all fake, she responded in a video.
The video wasn't staged. I really don't know who the guy in the back was. I wasn't alone in the parking garage. I was with my sister. It was just kind of a strange experience.
So what do you think? Did somebody somehow teleport into the video? And why? Why is he also walking backwards towards Mary? And where did he go? All a bit of a mystery, but let me know what you think in the comments below. 8. Kelvedon Hatch nuclear bunker is hidden in the heart of the Essex countryside in the UK. Although now a tourist attraction, back in the Cold War era of the 1980s it played an important part in monitoring Russian military activity and would have been used by the UK government in the event of nuclear war. However, with that threat now over, the bunker was sold to the farmer whose land it was built under, who then turned it into an attraction for visitors. By day you can take a guided tour around the site, and by night it plays host to ghost investigations. On this particular ghost investigation at the nuclear bunker, something strange was captured on camera. The following footage was captured during a break in the evening's event. At the time, the video recorder didn't notice what they'd captured. But can you spot it?
Oh, with the Kung Fu tune. No. I used to do Kung Fu. Honestly. I've done it for 3 years. I couldn't get a Cheeto. I smoked.
As the camera pans across, it catches the medical curtains in the hospital wing. Everything seems fine. Then, the camera sweeps back, and this time there appears to be something between the curtains. Can you see it? Unfortunately, the video quality isn't the greatest because it's actually recorded using a cell phone that's recording the screen of a camcorder. The actual footage was captured by a friend of one of the people on the investigation, and although they did promise they'd send through the original footage, unfortunately they never did. But you can still see there's something very strange going on in this video. You can also see that as the camera pans back, it appears to jump backwards out of sight, almost as if it knows it's been spotted. In case you're wondering if perhaps there was somebody hiding behind the curtains, one thing's for certain, everybody who was in the group was accounted for. So what is it? Could it be that there is some kind of ghost manifestation happening at the bunker? Or maybe it's some kind of alien that was captured and held at the base at some point in its history. Well, one thing's for certain, it's not a deliberate hoax. I can be pretty sure of that, because I was there. But do let me know what you think in the comments below. Here you can also find a link to the bunker itself if you fancy visiting it, if you're in the area. 7. Of course, the use of CCTV recording equipment in pubs these days is pretty common. You never know what you might end up capturing, whether it's people breaking in at night or causing trouble in the bar during the day, all those sorts of possibilities. So it's no surprise that occasionally they capture something quite strange. That's certainly the case with this particular footage captured in a pub in Greater Manchester in the UK. The following is the description of the video as featured in the original YouTube upload. It says, what you're about to see is the actual CCTV footage recorded at the Old Man and Side pub in Bolton, the 4th oldest pub in Britain, which dates back to 1251. The footage was recorded on the night of Friday the 14th of February 2014. The management discovered the footage later on in the morning of that same day after checking why the CCTV had stopped recording at 6:18 AM. This is what they found. Okay, there's a lot going on in this short video clip, so let's try and break down what we're seeing and see if we can make some sense of it. Here we've straightened the video a little bit and increased the light settings so perhaps we can see a little more of what's going on. Okay, it's still pretty hard to tell what's really going on here, so let's slow the video down a little bit and have a closer look. First of all, where is the flashing light? And then, right at the centre of the video, there appears to be a figure moving at the back of the pub. It reappears, stationary, as if looking forward, before disappearing. And then, even more strangely, On the wall to the right, there appears to be a flashing shadow that moves across. Maybe the shadow is only created when the light, whatever the light is flashing, but there certainly seems to be a shadow of a figure walk along the wall. So what is all this? Is it some kind of strange glitch with the camera? Or is it just an elaborate hoax? Let me know what you think in the comments below. 6. TikTok user Mr. Fender76 posted lots and lots of videos to his TikTok channel, most of which are DIY projects around cars and other things, some family videos, and one rather strange video which at the time even he didn't notice. His first video is just like any other video where he shows he's installed some very bright reverse lights onto the back of his vehicle. Quite straightforward. But the second video he goes out in the night to demonstrate how they work. And that's when he catches something really strange. Well, have a look.
The lights are definitely functional, but unfortunately I live in a city and there are street lights everywhere. But I can find a place to go test them. Okay, I found some really dark woods. I just put some tinfoil over the reverse lights. So I'm going to show you what the stock reverse lights look like, and then I'm going to uncover them and show you what the added reverse lights look like. These are the stock reverse lights.
Literally can't see anything.
And these are the ones I just installed. Look how friggin' bright that is. This is amazing. Yeah, so these are not just for looks.
To use the immortal words, did you see it? Just after the lights come on, something seems to move in the trees. Let's take a closer look. If you look closer, it's an arm that seems to withdraw from literally hugging the tree. After uploading this particular video, Mr. Fender got literally hundreds of messages pointing out the strange thing he'd captured on camera. So he decided to return to the area to see if he can figure out what it was he'd videoed. This is what he found.
Okay, I'm leaving work. 2 blocks that way is where the arm was. Okay, this road goes down to the lake, which is right there, and a public boat landing. This is where my truck was backed in. Well, it's actually a path, and that is the tree with the stick leaned up against it. And this is the tree. And here we are behind the tree. Where my exterior was backed in. I'm about 5'10".
Which, judging by the position of the shoulder, would make the figure, whoever it was, well over 6 foot tall.
I'm not a very superstitious person, so you're not going to get much out of me. I just think, if anything, somebody back here. So there's, across the lake is a neighborhood there. Boat landing parking is right there. All these trails, people use 4-wheelers and dirt bikes, but they haven't been used in a long time. 2 summers ago, I even brought my kids camping up on that ridge right there, just primitive camping and hammocks, and didn't think anything of it. So not much of a real update, just wanted to show y'all where it was. Right there.
So what did Mr. Fender accidentally capture on camera? Is it some kind of ghost, or even an alien? Or just a very strange person hiding out in the woods, whose arm appears to be grey? But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. You can also find a link to Mr. Fender's TikTok channel in the descriptions. 5. During a perfectly ordinary video call to a friend, Laurie Simmons accidentally captures something absolutely astounding. Let's watch the video through in its entirety the first time round and see if you can spot what Laurie accidentally captured.
I'm not going to buy anything expensive. I'll try like Salvation Army first and see what I can find. But I definitely need a smaller bed and one that's up off the floor because it's killing me. And then I'm just gonna let Al have this one because I just want it out of here, and he's sleeping on a blow-up mattress anyway. But I'm trying to make coffee. I went and bought decaf coffee. It's not really I've been having anxiety, and I think it's from the coffee, you know, because I made it like really super strong the other day at work. I like literally had an anxiety attack from it, so. But anyways, come on in. What are you doing?
Did you see it? Well, actually, there's a number of times that something very strange appears in the background behind Laurie. Let's have a look at the individual sections and see if we can make out what it is we're actually seeing.
I'm not gonna buy anything expensive. I'll try.
As Laurie pans the camera around, she seems to capture something moving behind her. The figure looks, for all the world, like an alien in a spacesuit moving past behind her. But this isn't the only time Laurie catches the strange figure. As Laurie moves her phone, she captures it again. In this next momentary capture of whatever it is, there's a little bit more light on the creature this time. But what is it? The next time the figure shows up is a little bit clearer with more light on it, but it's just as mysterious as before. It actually appears 3 times in this segment, but the first 2 times are so fast they're hard to see. This final sighting is perhaps the clearest of all. This time it's moved back to where it was previously, actually standing in the room. So what is it that Laurie's accidentally captured in her home? Is it some kind of ghost manifestation? Or is it even perhaps an alien from another planet or another reality? From what we have in the video, it's really hard to tell. It looks like there's clearly something there. Whether it's CGI is another question, but it does have a shadow, so if it is CGI, it's been well done. Or is it something as simple as some kind of balloon? Who knows, but let me know what you think in the comments below. There is one other example of a strange spaceman-like figure captured accidentally in a photograph in the UK in 1964. Known as the Solway Firth spaceman, the figure in the background behind the young girl bears some resemblance to the figure captured by Laurie in her home. However, there are those that say this photograph is actually not what it appears to be, but what do you think? Are they the same creature? Let me know what you think in the comments below. 4. The following footage is something I've wanted to feature on the channel almost since the beginning, as I've personally found it absolutely fascinating. This is actually a short clip from a TV program documenting the particular piece of footage, as unfortunately I've been unable to find the original footage itself anywhere, which is a real shame, but nonetheless I think it's worth featuring. Just a bit of a background to this. This was recorded in 1989 on good old-fashioned VHS video. When it was recorded, there was no home editing software available whatsoever. So if it's been faked, it's been done in a way that no one really knows. The original recorder is absolutely adamant that it is genuine and real. So here is the full clip. And please watch to the end for some of my own analysis.
November 1989. This mysterious black apparition was captured by videographer Daniel Hobbit.
You can't explain it, but you just know it's real.
Hobbit has spent many years trying to capture compelling evidence that ghosts are real. He shot this eerie video in the home of a very frightened couple, convinced they were living with a disturbed spirit or entity.
They were experiencing strange occurrences in their house. In particular, this one guest bedroom upstairs. Doors closing and pictures being thrown off the wall, and crying and voices coming from this particular room upstairs.
Despite the family's refusal to ever enter the room again, Hobbit braced himself and went in alone with his video camera. Once inside, Hobbit said he felt that some force was directing him to an antique picture on the wall. The picture was a present from the husband's dead mother.
I was not alone. A black, transparent, shadowy mass of some sorts, of someone or something standing by the bed. I remember the look on the husband's face. He stands up and he's pointing at the television, shaking his head, going, "My God," he says, "that's exactly what I saw."
Hobbit even caught the apparition reflected in a mirror. This shot persuades many top researchers that we are witnessing a real ghost on tape. Tellingly, the frightened family who lived in this home moved out and never came back. And the man who shot this video not only believes he captured a ghost on tape, but that it also should be a textbook example for proof of the afterlife.
The researchers in this field has devoted the last 20 years of their life had never encountered anything like this before. It's very rare to see what they had termed as a black articulating mass. After it was analyzed, dissected, I guess what I concluded was that it was a truly an important piece of video that perhaps I was meant to have captured.
So what is it? What caused that black mass? One could argue it's been caused by the light from the window beside that's made the area artificially dark. Except you can also see it in the reflection of the mirror, which, if it's simply caused by light refraction, would be impossible. So what did Daniel capture in this video? It's really hard to say from this distance of time, but certainly it looked pretty strange. As I say, there was no easy way to create this kind of special effect at all for a home video. It's the sort of thing that only be created by a professional video company, using very specialised expensive equipment. So is it real, or is it a very, very clever hoax? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. However, there is one thing that is a little bit strange that I didn't notice whilst actually editing this video. I'll show it to you in its entirety and see what you think. Notice how the mass in the mirror seems to stay in the same place in relation to the camera, even though the camera's moving and the angle is changing. It's more noticeable when I speed the clip up. It remains in the same position in the frame even though the camera's angle is changing. It may be nothing, but again, as always, what do you think? Let me know. 3. I have to admit that when I first saw this next clip, it spooked even me at first. It's pretty strange. So, what do you make of it? The video itself was uploaded to Nina Intern's TikTok channel. In it we can see her nephew in her bedroom exploring. And then he finds the Nanny Cam. But what happens next is pretty unnerving. I'd say did you see it, but it's pretty impossible to miss. Just what on earth was that? Some people have suggested that perhaps it's the cover of a magazine or a poster that's been knocked over as he moves the camera. But that's a pretty scary picture to have lying around with the kid in the house, so is it only a picture? And when the camera first picked it up, it's almost as if whatever it is looking directly at the camera. It's interesting to note that the child himself doesn't even notice there's anything there with him. So, what could it be? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. 2. Ghost Theory are a UK-based investigation team who carry out an investigation of a 300-year-old cottage that's been abandoned for no obvious reason. Or perhaps it's because it's on the site of a plague pit, but for whatever reason it is indeed empty, and the guys are ready to investigate. However, even before Joe and Elliot's investigation has really begun, they start to hear something coming from upstairs.
We were just setting up to record the intro when we could hear what we could only explain as water running through the pipes above us.
What is that? This is Ghost Theory's own enhancement of the sound. It does sound particularly creepy. It almost sounds like voices.
Is that the upstairs tap? It's a bathroom, isn't there? Oh, come on. Okay, so we think we can hear the upstairs tap turning on.
The door to the attic is wide open.
Note Joe's observation there. It might be important.
Cobweb. Oh, just walked straight into the cobweb. Looks like no one's walked up here in a while.
Yeah. Kind of a good sign. I don't like the smell in this bathroom.
No.
It smells old.
That's already on, I think. So there isn't running water?
Well, there is downstairs, though.
Yeah, that could have just been water left in the pipe, though.
That's true.
Having found that there is no running water upstairs, the guys now head down into the basement.
You've got to remember as well, like we say, this place is built on a plague pit, and this goes underground. So... This is like one of those, we're constantly chasing it.
Yeah.
Looking like they're sort out of the Blair Witch Project, but seemingly finding nothing interesting, the guys plan to head upstairs. But then...
Jesus Christ!
That was a door. That was a door.
That was, yeah. That made me jump like shit. Yeah. So did that.
That was a door. The kitchen door shut.
Fuck you, really.
Having found no obvious explanation for the door banging, the guys now head into one of the other rooms of the cottage.
Well, this place, like, if there is something here, it feels like it's playful. If you mean, I don't feel particularly scared, but I do feel like there's something that... I just saw a weird, like, bit of smoke right next to your face.
Although not very obvious, there clearly is something appearing in front of Joe and Elliot's faces. It looks like some kind of smoke. Also, if it's just their own breath, then this is the only time in the entire investigation it ever appears. It wasn't even in the cellar, which is undoubtedly colder than the rest of the house.
Let's go upstairs. I think we need to go upstairs. There's anything upstairs.
Oh, really weird.
It's at this point that Joe starts to feel unwell.
Jesus, what? You nearly just collapsed then. You're not right.
Where are we going?
Notice the closed door to the immediate right of the screen. This is the door to the attic. Remember earlier how Joe pointed out that the attic door was wide open? But now it's closed.
Let's go in here.
From where?
I have no idea. This way.
Jesus. This is the kind of like children's area, isn't it?
Although Joe has already pointed out he's really starting to feel unwell, it starts to get really strange from this point on.
Jesus Christ, man, seriously. I'm sweating like a bitch. I feel like I'm not as bad as I was when I sat down. I just like need to get my breath back.
Yeah. There's so much going on everywhere where we're not. That's really frustrating us in this place.
So like, I'm really lightheaded.
Yeah.
Really dizzy. My left shoulder and my left elbow feels like it's being stabbed. Just stood up. Those noises aren't helping.
How much battery have you got?
Dead. Won't even turn on.
With Joe feeling unwell and batteries suddenly dying, things seem to be getting even stranger, but they're about to become truly bizarre. As Joe explains.
Okay, so this is why we weren't going to release this video. At no point are we claiming that I was possessed or anything paranormal was going on here, and people probably wonder why we didn't just leave. It was because this obviously wasn't planned, and we were hoping to continue with the investigation once I was feeling better. We don't want to lose your trust in thinking that this was faked as some paranormal encounter, and this is genuinely how it happened, but it does make this episode much creepier than we anticipated.
really sorry about the lighting, guys. I really hope you can hear that. I'm going to go and have a look, Joe. I'm really creeped out. There's footsteps.
Unfortunately, it's hard to tell whether the noises we're hearing now are Elliot moving around or something else in the building. But carry on listening.
I'm actually shaking, guys. I'm seriously shaking. Crap! Listen, guys, listen. That made me jump. Jesus Christ. I really don't even know what to say, but you are just gone. I'm Joe. Can we just go? You were you basically out of it. You 1 minute you were there saying that you're feeling like crap, and the next minute you were basically out of it.
So what did Ghost Theory experience in the 300-year-old cottage? Were those sounds proof of haunting, of the paranormal, or is it all just explainable? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. You can find a link to Ghost Theory's YouTube channel in the description. 1. MCM Outdoors is a YouTube channel run by Chris, who is a very experienced hiker and camper, well used to exploring the wilder and open areas of the UK moorlands. During one such adventure, Chris explores an undisclosed location in the Lancashire moors.
Quick scenery check. We're looking to Winter Hill with the mast.
After a day's hiking, Chris finds an appropriate spot to pitch his tent. And having settled in for the night, Chris decides to tell of a strange encounter he once experienced out on the moors.
In this edition of Tales from the Tent, I'm going to tell you my scariest experience I've ever had when I've been wild camping.
Chris describes how, needing to answer the call of nature, he has a very odd experience with something outside the tent.
And I just had this sixth sense. I thought, someone's here, there's someone here. And it was this horrible feeling. On the hairs on the back of my neck, genuinely started standing up. So it was about 2:30 in the morning. I'm looking out with my head torch into the mist, and I can't see, just about see, my hand in front of my face. And all of a sudden, as I'm looking towards the trig point of Shining Tor, just to the left of it was this dark silhouette. I have never got back into my tent so quickly. Zipped it up as quick as I could, straight into the inner. I put the sleeping bag over my head, and I was absolutely terrified. That's never ever happened to me anywhere else. That's absolutely gospel true. Whatever that was on Shining Tor that night, it wasn't good. And that's the only time ever that I've been wild camping and felt afraid.
As Chris concludes telling his story, he begins to notice some strange sounds outside the tent.
Do you know what that noise is? It's like this weird noise. It's getting closer. Oi! What the f is that? Is it all around? That?
Unfortunately, Chris stops recording at that point, and we can only assume that whatever that sound was, it had stopped. But what was it that Chris was recording? Surely someone as experienced as him would recognise any strange noise from outside if it was an animal of any form, and yet he clearly doesn't recognise what this sound is. So we're left with a question. What is it? What is he hearing? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. You can follow all of Chris's adventures on his YouTube channel, which is listed in the links below, where you can also hear Chris's full story of his bizarre encounter with a strange figure on Shining Tour in the Peak District. I hope you've enjoyed this second collection of 10 of the best Cryptic File videos I've created. I'm actually going to be taking a break from the channel for a little while, but I hope to be back in the autumn, so hopefully I'll see you then.